I don't feel good right now. I was 100% laughing, 100% crying last night. Just over everything, like the silliness of it all, and the fact that I don't think I'm ever gonna feel good, and how that's funny, sad, heartbreaking, stupid. But this is my story. It can only be told as it is, with times when I'm 100% crying and 100%. But when I walked outside and the sun hit my face, it was warm and the sky is bright blue, like so blue, it doesn't even make sense. And in the corner of my eye, I could see the Christmas lights off of the eave of our house, and they're so bright and colorful against the blue sky. You can't help but smile with something like that, all those bright colors and the warm sun on your face on a cold day and the blue sky. And it's time for me to buck up. And even though I feel like crying, I gotta push that down. Nobody wants to be around somebody who cries. That makes people really uncomfortable. Kind of like tattoos. It's like they don't know what to say or do. They're like, oh, why'd you do that? Why are you crying? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. But it's the people who are comfortable with those things, comfortable with me, despite those things, that I know truly care about me. Even if I'm weird, even if I tell my story in a way that makes people uncomfortable, I'm gonna cry again. It's my life. It's my story. I get to tell it how I want to. With tattoos and stupid videos that are too long. It's my story. My name is Sherry. I am 46 years old. I'm a bit of a nerd. I'm a lot of a nerd. Oh, you know what? That's not right. We need to back that up. Yeah, let's try that again. I am a huge nerd. I am a wife, and I have been married to my very best friend for 25 years. I am a mother to 3 awesome, amazing kids. Most importantly, I love peanut butter and Cheeto sandwiches, and you need to try them because they are awesome. My mom packed us lunches every day, and I would always get a peanut butter sandwich. My favorite chips when I was a kid magic. And so I would take my Cheetos and I would stick them in the middle of my peanut butter sandwich. It's delicious. You have to try it. You'll love it. If you don't love it, I don't care. I don't want to hear. I know that they're delicious, and that's all. So, peanut butter and Cheetos. When my daughter had brain surgery, my husband and I slept in chairs by her bed when she was in the PICU for far too long. And we stayed there until we were sure that she would come back to us. I am a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a niece. I'm a cousin. I'm a friend. I am an aunt. And I am a witness to a crime. When my 13-year-old nephew was killed, I ended up testifying to the nightmare of his injuries over and over. And the man responsible made fun of us. He laughed at us. He showed no remorse. He and his lawyer sat in that courtroom and they smirked. And when I testified, they called into question every single thing about me. My character, my morals, my motivation, my honesty, my memory, which, okay, call me names. I happen to be extremely stubborn, so, but he's still gone. I am a nurse. I've worked in trauma ERs across the country in Iowa, Illinois, New Jersey, Arizona, Colorado, California, Oregon. I taught trauma certification to other ER critical care nurses. I worked in cardiac care, critical care, home care, hospital management, nursing management, and population health. I received my master's in the science of nursing and healthcare systems management from Loyola in New Orleans. I have practiced nursing in 3 different countries, here in the US, Jamaica, and Honduras. We have things here that people in other countries can only dream about. As a nurse, I have presented across the country to other healthcare systems and medical professionals on topics regarding quality improvement, chronic disease management, patient empowerment, clinical documentation improvement, health behavior change, meeting the patient where they're at, blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure any one of those presentations did any good. I am a woman who, in the midst of everything I am and all that I had hoped to be, began losing all of those things slowly over the last 5 years. I've had symptoms for at least the last 10 years, worse over the last 5 to 7. Started with the muscles in the bottom of my right foot. They wouldn't stop moving. At the time, it was just curious. It was weird. It was not a big deal. But then those muscles started cramping, and it moved up my calf. My foot began to hurt, and it began to turn in a bit. So I saw my doctor. They took blood. They said everything was fine. By 2015, the pain in my right foot was so severe I couldn't walk on it. I began seeing a podiatrist. She wasn't sure what was going on. We did x-ray after x-ray. She couldn't quite pinpoint what was causing my pain. She ended up putting me in a walking boot for months. And then there was one visit, and I was sitting there. I had my foot up, on the exam table. She was sitting on the stool in front of me. She was looking at my foot, and she kind of all of a sudden backed up, and she seemed a bit startled. And she pointed at my foot, and she said, "How long have your muscles been doing that?" And I shrugged. I said, "Oh, They've been doing that for years. She's like, that's not normal. You need to go see your doctor. And I said, I have. And she said, do it again. You need further evaluation. So I did. But around this time, the hearing in my right ear began to randomly go in and out. I was also beginning to be extremely fatigued, but I had a full-time job that I worked more than 40 hours. I was traveling a lot. I had 3 kids. I was busy. I was tired. Everybody's busy. Everybody's tired. That's the way it is. Not sleeping well. That's everybody's story. But I went to see my doctor. At this point, they thought, well, maybe there is something. Maybe it's MS. Drew some blood. The labs and the MRI were all normal. Everything was fine. Quit worrying. This is nothing. This is nothing. But my muscles now, they were out of control. I began to have panic attacks for no good reason. I would end up locking myself in bathroom stalls at work, at church, even social functions, just to try to get myself under control. Just get a grip. The next couple of years had a lot of other symptoms. Just about everything in my body felt wrong. A lot of it was my muscles. I had terrible abdominal pain, random episodes that I've never blacked out from anything in my life, and I blacked out from that. I had every test you could do. They checked everything out on me, labs and MRIs and CAT scans, and every organ that can be checked in a human body got checked, and I was always fine. And at this point I was thinking I was crazy, that I was broken, that this was all in my head. You need to eat better, lose weight, move more, eat a banana for potassium, drink milk for calcium, take some magnesium, drink some water. This is nothing. So by 2019, I had a new family doctor, and she was pretty convinced that there was probably something else going on. And she spent most of that year trying to get me to go to a neurologist. And I didn't listen. And I wouldn't go. Have I mentioned that I'm stubborn? Anyway, I didn't go until my symptoms became so bad that they were unbearable. Every single part of my life was now affected. I would struggle through work. I wasn't sleeping. I would come home from work and I would go to bed. And then I would try to do it again the next day. And nothing was functioning well. Finally, about that time that I wasn't sure how much longer I could do this, and still thinking that even though my doctor said, you know what, you should be seen by a specialist. In my head, I was like, no, I'm just broken. And then COVID happened. And I had to stay home. And I made an appointment to go see a neurologist. And in April of 2020, after some big tests, she diagnosed me with young onset Parkinson's disease. A Parkinson's diagnosis in and of itself would have been plenty to deal with. But COVID, man, that just cranked up the suck factor on everything. Even though I had symptoms before COVID, I got this diagnosis during that time, and then kind of had to start my journey as a Parkinson's patient under that COVID umbrella. I was shuffling the hospital and clinic hallways from appointment to appointment alone. and it would make all my shaking that much worse. I go to these appointments and my neurologist and I were playing the very worst game of Would You Rather. I've always hated that game, Would You Rather. I never wanted to play that. I don't like that game. So each appointment, my husband would wait in the parking ramp in the car, and I'd get back to the car and I'd be in tears and I'd be shaking and I'd be hiccuping through sobs, and I didn't ask the questions that needed to be asked, and I can't remember what the doctor said, and I'm grieving and I'm confused and I can't understand how to navigate this medical world that used to be so familiar to me. I'm upset. I'm upset. I could be upset maybe because I don't feel good, or it could be the fact that I've been fighting with the pharmacy and my insurance company for a week now to get a medicine that insurance doesn't want to pay for. I get that. I get it. However, this is where I'm stuck. I'm stuck here. What about everybody else? What about the people who maybe they don't have the right words to say what they need? What if they don't have the energy to say what they need? Because for a while there, I was going to give up too. I don't feel good. I don't have the energy. Like, I can't get my medicine from the pharmacy to take so that I can function, so that I feel better. So all of this other extra stuff, like trying to advocate for myself with the hospital, trying to get my husband to come back with me to advocate for me too, that's extra. Like, sometimes it's all I can do to take my medicine, which I can't get, so I can get through the day, so maybe I can eat something, so I can interact with my family, so I can interact with my family, so I can work. Anyway, what about everybody else? And that's where I want to yell and I want to stomp and I want to scream at them and say, it's not fair. So it's been a week and a half that I've been trying to get this medicine. Calling the pharmacy, calling insurance. Call pharmacy, call insurance. Call the doctor, call pharmacy, call insurance. Transfer prescription to a different pharmacy, which insurance assured me would be covered because they say that pharmacy is in their network versus my old pharmacy. So I go to start an account. My insurance company says you have to go online, you have to start an account to manage your medicines so that you can see this better. I go to start an account and it's saying all the information that I entered doesn't match their records and I have to call them. So now, like, I was feeling okay, right? I was. My medicines were working okay. Now I'm So now I'm trying to order it through the mail order pharmacy that my insurance company prefers the mail order pharmacy. I understand that it's cheaper. I'm on like 15 different medicines. Forgive me if I want to talk to a person about them when I go to pick them up. That is also important. I can't order it. I can't. I don't know why. Oh, they have to contact my doctor. Okay. In dealing with any sort of health condition, like, you go through waves of acceptance and then not acceptance and acceptance and, you know, whatever. You deal with it better on some days than others. And so this affects that. I want people to know this simple thing that the pharmacy or the insurance company, whoever, they think, oh, this isn't a big deal. We're just asking you to fill it through our preferred mail order pharmacy. Like, I was doing okay for a few days, like accepting it. Like, I take my medicines, I feel okay, I go to work. That's the way it is. And now with this, it just throws everything. It just, like, and now I'm mad. And I'm upset at all of these dumb medicines, and I don't want to take any of them anymore if it means going through this. So that's my TED Talk for today. And then Botox every 3 months, which, you know, it's not for my wrinkles. As if that were a question. I don't think anybody would. I don't think anybody would assume I'm getting Botox in this face. No, Botox every 3 months so that my foot doesn't cramp up and stay that way. They put Botox in my foot for comfort, for sure. Yep, because that's painful when your foot kind of stays like that, like it's a constant Charlie horse that doesn't ever go away. But also so I can put my shoe on, so that my foot, instead of turning like inward like that, like it's normal, relaxes into a normal foot position, so I can put my shoe on and then walk, you know, just walk. On the scale of things in this world, what I'm going through is not that bad. I have to remind myself of that because sometimes I forget and I have a big old pity party. I'm strong as hell. I'm strong as hell. I am strong as hell, but this is hard. I saw that neurologist 3 times total. The last time I saw her, she said with blinding arrogance that this diagnosis, this Parkinson's diagnosis, was a wonderful opportunity to reinvent myself. I didn't want to reinvent myself. I was perfectly happy with the version of myself that I had. Sure, I mean, a couple little things I would want to change, but overall, no, like, I don't want to reinvent myself. I liked myself. I liked my life. I was crying at the time. I was worried about work. I was working 2 different jobs. I was a school nurse, but I also worked in an urgent care on the weekend sometimes. I love starting IVs. I'm sorry, that's weird, but it's true. I love it. And I was crying and I said, but I just want to work. I just want to be a nurse. I just want to go to work and not scare my patients when I'm coming at them shaking with a needle to start their IV.
If they just hold still, we'd all be fine. I'd get it. She said, just do it with your left hand. Just start trying everything with your left hand, which, again, silver lining. I get it. I think that advice is for someone who is not me. And there are some amazing people that can do that, right? As it is, I can't even eat cereal with my left hand. If I can't eat cereal with my left hand, I can't imagine trying to start IVs with my left hand. Anyway, I quit that job. I loved that job, but I quit. Nobody needs a shaky nurse coming in to draw your blood. Even if I am still good at it.
At the time, I had asked for my husband to be with me at every appointment and had been denied each time. Early on, I understood and supported this, since being careless during a pandemic would be silly and unwise. Thankfully, things have changed. This would not have happened without my neurologist advocating personally on my behalf. Not all patients have doctors who do that. Doctors are busy. They just are. They can be the best people in the world, but they are busy and they are pulled in 100 different directions every single day. And my neurologist took the time to argue my case to the people who make those decisions. And my husband was able to come back with me. It was a big deal. A lot of people may think that's a small thing. It's not a small thing. It's huge. This should be an expectation. This should not be something that we tolerate as healthcare providers. It should not be something we tolerate as patients. If you have a big, important medical visit, you should not be alone. End of story. End of story. You're not going to hear everything. You need somebody else there. They need to listen for you. They need to ask the questions for you. They need to speak up when the question is embarrassing and you don't want to ask it. It's that important. It's your life. It's your life. You need somebody there with you. And hospitals and doctors, nurses, listen up. This needs to happen. And we need to stop around. I have an amazing family doctor who has sat by me and she's cried with me and she's hugged me on some of my worst days. If you don't have a doctor like that, you need to get one. If you don't know where to find one, you need to ask your nurse friends, you need to ask your doctor friends, you need to ask anybody. You need to ask. You need to find somebody who's going to sit next to you when you're crying and they cry too. It's important. You need to find somebody like that. My neurologist is crazy good. Not just with the Botox and getting it where it needs to go. He's amazing at that. He knows Parkinson's backwards and forwards. He knows all the medicines. He knows everything about the brain. He's amazing. What makes him truly remarkable is that he treats a human being like a human being. If you need a specialist, you need to find a specialist like that. And don't give up until you do. So that's my message. Speak up. Find somebody who cares for you, who cries with you, who treats you like a human being, who doesn't sugarcoat anything, who advocates for you. Find those people. Keep asking questions until you do. And for God's sake, bring somebody with you. Bring somebody with you.
I don't think I can overstate how valuable it would have been to have someone with me that would have helped me make the best decision between some really crappy options. Being alone during my doctor's appointments during COVID affected the potential for health and wellness I maybe could have had. We'll never know. facing this disease together, making decisions together, hearing the same thing together, bearing the same weight together. Well, I guess to some people that may seem like a very small thing, but frankly, being alone during that time, it did me harm. Some may say that a patient who isn't acutely ill doesn't need or deserve to have a care partner with them. I would counter that to say that not having my husband with me during those appointments, during those neurology appointments, pushed me closer to being more acutely ill.
So we're at the end of this and still have Parkinson's. I'm still a wife. I'm still a mother. I'm still a nurse. Still a huge nerd. That's not going to change. So there are really good things in the middle of all the bad. The stupid medicines and stupid insurance companies and pharmacies and healthcare systems and doctors who don't listen. And days when you don't feel like yourself, and days when life isn't what you thought it would be. There are good things. Beauty still happens each and every day, regardless if you want it to or not. It's going to happen. It's going to be there. I still find lovely things, even in the middle of my own loss. I still find beauty, even in the middle of all my broken pieces. It's still there. Most of the time, waiting for me to notice. I think that's pretty cool. I think that means there's hope. And if there's one thing Parkinson's can't take away from me, by golly, it's that.